She was standing right by the arrivals gate at the airport, eyes wide like she had just seen a ghost, shaking like a leaf in a thunderstorm. Her mascara had run down both cheeks, lipstick faded and cracked, blonde hair tied up in a loose knot like she had not touched a mirror in days. Her voice cut through the crowd like a crack in ice. "Logan, what happened? Why won't you answer my calls? Where's your suitcase?" I calmly adjusted the sleeves on my blazer, slid my phone back into the inside pocket of my coat, and looked her square in the eyes. Everything went exactly how I planned it. That is when her legs buckled. She grabbed the metal railing beside her just to stay on her feet. The same woman who had called me just 2 weeks earlier from my own damn house, saying she was leaving me for some other guy and their unborn child, now looked like she had just seen her whole life vanish. Let me back this up for you. 2 weeks ago, I was overseas in Seoul, South Korea, on a business trip. Long day of meetings, finished with a late dinner alongside our Asian partners. I got back to the hotel, kicked off my shoes, sat on the edge of the bed with a glass of whiskey, and then my phone lit up. Her name, Madison, my wife, the woman I had been married to for 8 years. The woman I'd built a future with, the one I thought I could trust with everything. My house, my love, my future. I picked up with a smile I had not yet unlearned. "Hey, sweetheart," I said. Dead silence for a few seconds. Then her voice came through like ice water down my back. "Logan, I'm leaving you. I'm pregnant, and it is not yours. It is his. I already sold the house and the car. You'll get the divorce paperwork tomorrow." I just sat there, holding the phone like it weighed 1,000 pounds. I didn't yell. I didn't break the glass. I didn't say anything for a long moment. Then finally, I said the only word I could manage. "All right." And I hung up. The strange part? I felt calm. Cold, quiet, terrifying calm. Madison had always been good at pretending, laughing at my jokes, acting like she cared, giving me a kiss on the cheek every morning like it meant something. I thought I had a life partner. What I really had was a snake in a sundress. But I had been paying attention. Late night, work meetings. Lingerie I didn't recognize showing up in the laundry. Strange texts she would clear the second I walked into the room. I didn't confront her. I started preparing. See, what she did not know was that while I had been flying back and forth for meetings, I had also been quietly moving our assets. When she sold the house, she thought she won, but the deed had been transferred months ago into a holding company I owned. When she sold my car, that had been legally signed over to my business partner, Drew, 2 weeks earlier. The joint savings? Already locked away. A legal trust had most of it. She never checked, too busy dreaming about her new life with her new guy. His name? Blake. Some washed-up MMA fighter who now worked as a personal trainer at her gym. Had a criminal record for assault. Class act. I had seen the mugshot myself. She thought she was trading up. She thought she had pulled off the ultimate betrayal. But the moment I landed back at LAX and saw her waiting, hysterical and confused, she realized something was very wrong. And I walked right past her. Calm, quiet, ice cold. She trailed behind me, heels clicking across the floor like a chase scene in slow motion. "Logan, wait. What do you mean it went as planned? What's happening?" I stopped, turned around, and looked at her like I was staring at a stranger. I knew months ago. You're not good at hiding lies, Madison. I gave you all the rope. You built your own noose. Her face went pale. What are you saying? I know about Blake. I know about the pregnancy. I know about the fake house sale. I know everything. And I am not the idiot you married. I just let you believe I was. She didn't even try to argue after that. Her jaw hung open, face twisted like her whole world had cracked in two. I walked away, phone already buzzing in my pocket. It was Drew. "You good, brother?" he asked. I smiled. "Yeah, time for phase 2. He had a car waiting outside. Black SUV, tinted windows. I climbed in and looked out just long enough to see Madison pacing in circles at the curb, shouting into her phone, shaking like a stage actress who had just realized the play was over. "Where to, sir?" the driver asked. "To the firm." 2 hours later, I was at my lawyer's office. We finalized paperwork that had been weeks in the making. Madison's fake sale of the house. Fraud. Her attempt to cash out joint accounts. Blocked. Her lover? Set up with a bogus business deal overseas from one of my friends in private investigation. The man left the country days ago thinking he was about to sign a contract with a European sponsor. Instead, he got ghosted. Poetic justice. That night, I went back to the apartment I had kept in my name. The one with a view of the bay, a leather armchair that still smelled like fresh tobacco, and a shelf full of untouched bourbon. I poured a glass. 5 emails from Madison. Subject lines, please. Can we talk? I was scared. The woman who shouted that she was leaving me for another man and his child was now begging for a conversation. I clicked through the security footage. The hidden cameras I installed back in the house, one above the kitchen, one in the hallway. She never noticed. I saw them together, her and Blake, 2 days before the call. She was wearing my old shirt, legs wrapped around him like I never existed. The tattoos, the smug look, it all burned into my brain. But I did not get angry. I did not scream. Because Blake was already gone. And Madison? Well, she came to my door that night. In the rain. Makeup running, hands shaking. Please, Logan, she sobbed into the intercom. Just 5 minutes. I turned down the volume. Because I had already heard enough. This was just the beginning. About 10 seconds after the last call, another voicemail came through. Curiosity got the better of me, and I pressed play. Logan, it's me. Please, just let me explain. You don't understand. It wasn't supposed to turn out like this. Blake, he left. Said he couldn't deal with the chaos. He took my card. I don't have anything left. Please, just meet me. Now she wanted a meeting. Now, after she called me from across the world to say she was leaving me for another man and his baby. Now she had something to say. I didn't answer. Instead, I drove straight to my office, walked into our legal conference room, and handed my lawyer the folder I had been building for months. Screen captures, bank statements, text message logs, flight records, everything with her name on it. Every reckless move she made while thinking she was the smartest one in the room. I was not looking for revenge. I wanted her backed into a corner of her own design. I wanted her surrounded by the lies she'd built, with no place left to crawl. After the meeting, I walked a few blocks, hoping I would feel lighter. But I didn't. Even when you win, when you see the person who betrayed you fall apart under the weight of their own lies, it does not feel like a triumph. It feels like watching a mask drop and realizing the face underneath was never who you loved to begin with. Later that night, she showed up again. Not crying this time, furious. Logan, open the damn door. You think you're clever, huh? You think you can just cut me off like this? She screamed from the hallway. I gave you years. I gave you everything. I stood behind the door, silent, watching her through the peephole as she pounded her fist against the wood, mascara streaked and hair soaked from the rain. Her voice cracked, rage taking the place of the sweet girl act she used to run on me. There she is, I thought. The real Madison. Not the soft-spoken wife. The user. The manipulator. The one who only felt something when she was losing control. I'll tell everyone you were abusive, she screamed. I'll ruin you. That is when I cracked the door open, just enough so she could see me. I smiled. Go ahead, I said. I already sent the files. The footage. The messages. The money trail. You want to go public? I'll make you famous. And just like that, her eyes changed. The fury melted into something better, fear. She did not say another word. Just turned and walked off into the dark hallway, her step slow and stiff, like her legs weighed 100 pounds. That was the last time she came to my door. The very next morning, I got an email from her attorney asking if we could settle things peacefully. No apologies. No explanation. Just the legal version of throwing in the towel. They offered to walk away with nothing. No claim to the house, no fight over the car, no request for support. I forwarded the email to my lawyer with 2 words, finish her. This had nothing to do with spite anymore. This was about justice. About refusing to let her rewrite the narrative of what happened. About refusing to shrink in the wreckage she tried to bury me under. That night, I sat on the balcony with the same bottle I opened the night I came home. Let myself feel it all again, the love I used to have for her. The memories. Sunday pancakes. That road trip to Oregon where we camped by the lake. The morning walks. The birthdays. Her laugh before I knew it was a weapon. How do you mourn someone who's still walking around? How do you bury love when the person's still breathing? I still didn't have an answer. But I knew one thing. I'd never love blindly again. Never hand someone the blueprints to destroy me and call it trust. A week passed. No calls. No emails. But my assistant started sending me screenshots. Instagram posts. Fresh starts. Some people aren't meant to stay in your life forever. Fake smiles. Beach selfies. Sunset filters. She was trying to paint over everything with positivity quotes like it was just a breakup, not betrayal. But the truth? The truth always leaks through. Word got around. The gym she worked at found out about Blake's arrest history, about her supplement business, and how she had been dipping into client funds under the table. The owners cut ties. The members started asking questions. And without attention, without her little stage, she started unraveling. She moved in with a friend, then out, then back to her mother's house. I didn't care where she ended up. The lawsuit kept moving. Quiet, methodical, ruthless. Then one night, around 2 a.m., I got a phone call. The name made me pause. Derek. Her brother. We had always gotten along. Until she fed him lies about me. I let it ring 4 times, then picked up. Logan, he said. His voice sounded tired. I know this is out of line, but I needed to say something. I waited. She's not okay. She's not eating. She's not sleeping. She's not the same. I lit a cigarette, something I had not done in years. I get that, I said. But you don't know half of what she did. I know enough, he said. I saw the footage. That caught me off guard. She showed you? No, he replied. I found it. Hacked her laptop after she stayed at my place for a week. I saw the way she let that guy treat your house like his. Heard what she said about you when she thought nobody was listening. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. For all of it. I was quiet for a while. Thanks, I said. That means something. He didn't push. He didn't beg for her. He just said his piece and hung up. And somehow, that hit me harder than her crying at my door ever did. Because for 1 second, I remembered she was human. A terrible one. A selfish one. A cruel one. But human. The next morning, I opened my inbox. 1 message. No subject. No greeting. Just 1 sentence. I found out the baby wasn't his. No hello. No apology. Just that. I stared at it for a full minute. Then I closed the laptop. Not out of anger. Not out of hate. But because I finally felt nothing. Not sorrow. Not hope. Just nothing. That night, I went for a walk. Ended up outside that little bookstore she used to love. The one with the old jazz and crooked shelves. I do not even know why I went in. Maybe I needed proof that her ghost no longer lived in me. The place was the same. Same creaky wood floor. Same bell above the door. I picked up that novel she loved, the one that made her cry the first time we read it together. I remember pretending to hate it just to make her laugh. I remembered holding her on Sunday mornings with a book in her hand and her head on my chest. Then I put the book back and walked out. Because the past is a place you can visit, sure, but it's no place to live. And she still lives there. That's her sentence. And there he was. Same tribal tattoo crawling down his arm like a bad decision that never healed. Tight t-shirt stretching over a beer belly he probably still called muscle. Swagger so fake it made my skin itch. He didn't see me at first, too busy sweet-talking the gas station clerk, trying to get a discount on protein bars like it was a high-stakes negotiation. Pathetic, really. Sadder than it was funny. Then he turned. Our eyes met. And for half a second he froze. I didn't move. Didn't blink. Just stared through him like he was already part of a past I had no interest in revisiting. He walked over, slow and stiff, pretending it was casual. Like we were old teammates bumping into each other at a reunion. Logan, right? He said. I took a sip of coffee. Said nothing. Didn't expect to see you back in the States. Dubai was not what I thought it'd be. No kidding. Awkward pause. He scratched his neck, tried to force a smile. Guess things with Madison didn't go how either of us figured, huh? Still, I said nothing. She told me you two were already over. Before anything happened, he added, voice quicker, like he was trying to clear his name. I raised an eyebrow. Right. Because you strike me as the honorable type. He chuckled nervously. Look, man, it was just bad timing. I didn't know she was playing both sides. I finished my coffee, tossed the cup into the trash, and stepped a little closer. She played you because you were easy. Because you were dumb. You weren't a threat. You were a break from reality. A little fantasy she thought she could build a life with. He tried to brush it off with a laugh. Whatever, man. That's old news. No, I said. It's your present. You're still chasing the scraps she left behind. Me? I moved on. You're still out here begging for protein bar coupons like they'll fix your pride. Then I walked out. Calm. Steady. Done. Not out of anger. Not out of spite. Just done. That night, I poured a glass of whiskey in my new place, downtown loft, clean lines, high ceilings, no trace of her. My life didn't crash when she walked out. It finally started. For years, I was breaking my back trying to be enough for someone who was never going to be satisfied. That weight? Gone. I was building something real again. A business I cared about. A circle of people who actually gave a damn. And a peace I hadn't felt since before her name ever landed in my life. A few days later, a thick envelope arrived in the mail. Fancy cardstock. Floral scent. Handwritten. I didn't even need to open it. Madison. Inside was a boutique card. The kind she used to rave about in overpriced shops. Gold-foiled. Cream-colored. All show. No soul. Let's meet. Just talk. No lawyers. No drama. Just us. One last time. No return address. Just a date, a time, and a place, our old coffee shop. The same one where we first met 10 years ago. She spilled iced coffee on my laptop and laughed like she'd solved world hunger. Back when she was still magnetic in a way that didn't burn. I shouldn't have gone. But I did. Not for closure. I don't believe in that anymore. I want to see what was left. Of her. Of me. Of the version of us I had finally stopped chasing. She was already there when I walked in. Hair tied up. Trench coat I bought her last Christmas. Red lipstick, like she was trying to rewind time. Same old tricks. She smiled like nothing had happened. Logan, she said, standing like we were meeting for lunch. I sat. Said nothing. She sipped her drink, sighed like this was hard on her. I'm glad you came. Get to the point, I said. The smile wobbled. You don't have to be so harsh. I'm not here for small talk. She leaned forward, dropped her voice to that soft, careful tone I'd heard too many times before. The one she used when she wanted something. I made mistakes, she said. I got swept up in someone who promised something different. I was selfish. I panicked. I stared at her. I thought maybe you stopped loving me, she whispered. You felt so distant. Always buried in work. I thought you didn't care anymore. I almost laughed. So your solution was to sleep with a guy in my kitchen while wearing my shirt? She flinched. It wasn't like that. No, I said. Because I have the footage that says it was exactly like that. Her face cracked. She blinked fast and looked out the window. I didn't come to fight. Then why'd you come? Silence. Then, in that same fake soft tone, I miss you. I smiled. Just a little. I miss how you made me feel. Like I mattered. Like everything made sense. You did matter, I said. You just hated that the kind of matching I offered came with commitment. With patience. With accountability. She looked like she might cry. And then she did. Quiet tears. Napkin pressed to her mouth. No one else in the cafe even blinked. Just me, watching the show. Do you hate me? She asked. No, I said. I feel nothing. That crushed her. She looked down, lips trembling, like the wind had been knocked out of her. I thought maybe, with time. We can't go back, I said. Not because I'm angry, but because I'm free. She nodded. Slowly. Her voice barely a whisper now. I'm not with him anymore. I know, I said. He is not with you either. She looked up like she wanted to scream. But all she did was nod again. I deserve that. I stood up. Dropped a 20 on the table, even though I didn't order a damn thing. As I turned to leave, she asked, Is this really it? I leaned down. Quiet. Calm. You sent me divorce papers while I was in another country. Told me you were pregnant with another man's kid. Sold the house. Sold the car. Then panicked because I didn't beg. What exactly did you expect? She opened her mouth, but nothing came out. I walked out. The door jingled behind me. The sun was low. The sky smelled like rain. And just like that, that chapter was closed. A few weeks passed. No texts. No emails. No more knocks on the door. Just silence. Maybe she finally figured it out. That this time, the door was actually locked. Permanently. But even after someone's gone, they leave fingerprints. Little reminders in the corners of your life. A glance at the passenger seat when I stop at a red light, expecting her to be there adjusting her makeup. A song in the grocery store she used to hum while wiping down the counters. Not ghosts that scream. Just quiet ones. The kind that sit in your ribs and sigh when everything else goes still. I did not hate her. And I did not hope she found happiness either. Because peace, real peace, is something you earn. Not something you fake your way into with Instagram quotes and forced apologies. Some folks try to steal it like it's theirs by default. But it does not work like that. One night, I was out on a rooftop bar downtown with Luke. City glowing beneath us. Cars humming in the distance, soft and steady, like the world reminding us it does not stop just because your heart did for a while. He raised his glass. Man, he said, you handled all of it like a damn pro. Most guys would have lost their minds. I gave him a quiet smile. Maybe I did, I said, just not out loud. He laughed. Still, the way you played it smart, the legal side, the financial moves. Even got that Bryce guy to vanish like a card trick. I didn't do anything special, I said. I just stood still while she walked herself into the fire she set for me. He sipped his drink, looking off into the lights. You ever think about starting over? Like actually starting over? I nodded. All the time. Anyone new? He asked. I shook my head. Not yet. I'm not ready to hand over that part of me to anyone again. He leaned back, looked at me differently. You think maybe some part of you still wants her to say the right thing? Apologize the way she never did. I looked into my glass for a long moment. Then I said, it's not about an apology. I just needed someone who would not lie to me like I was easy to replace. Luke gave a slow nod. Then we just sat in the quiet. I walked home that night. Took the long way. Needed to breathe for a while. The streets were calm, soft puddles reflecting the traffic lights. Every step felt like it was taking me further from the man I used to be. The one who bent over backwards just to be enough for someone who was never going to see him. Then, I saw her again. Not in person, on a billboard. Some old ad for a wellness retreat she tried to launch before everything crashed. They never took it down. Her face was up there, smiling like she had all the answers. Lit by fake sunlight, beaming like she still believed the lie she sold everybody else. I stood there, staring at it for a while. Then I walked over, pulled a pin from my coat pocket, and scrawled one sentence across the bottom. Nothing heals when you keep lying. Then I stepped back, looked at it, felt nothing, and walked away. 6 months passed. And life? It felt unfamiliar in the best kind of way. Like moving into a space that finally fits. No creaking lies under the floorboards. No ghost in the shower steam. Just silence. Just peace. The kind of quiet you do not realize you are missing until it finally shows up. Business was booming. Clients doubled. Bigger accounts. I hired people I trusted. Real folks. No more smiles with knives behind them. My mornings were mine again, gym, coffee, sunlight through the windows that no longer reminded me of her. Then one day, I got a letter. No return address. Just my name on the front. And handwriting I had not seen in a long time. Inside, one sheet of paper. Cream-colored. Clean. Just a few lines. No greeting. No, dear Logan. No, love, Madison. Just this. You were right. About all of it, Dot. I don't expect forgiveness, Dot. I just want you to know I think about what I did every day, Dot. Not because I lost you, Dot, but because I lost the person I was supposed to be. That was it. No signature. I folded the letter once. Set it on the kitchen counter. I did not burn it. I did not frame it. I did not answer it. I just let it sit. That night, I stepped out onto the balcony and lit a candle. Not for her. Not for the pain. For closure. For what I made it through. For the man who walked away with his head high even when his heart was still bleeding. And that is when I realized something I had never said out loud until then. She did not break me. She freed me from the lie I was trying to live in, from the version of love that only ever took and never gave, from a relationship that kept me trapped in silence I had mistaken for calm. And I smiled, not because I won, but because I finally stopped playing a game I never signed up for in the first place. So, if you were hearing this, if you were stuck in that same storm, that place where betrayal feels like a boulder on your chest, you are not alone. You are not weak. And no matter how deep it cuts, you will heal. Not quickly, not painlessly, but you will. And when you do, when you finally come back to yourself, you will thank the version of you that chose to walk away, even while your heart begged you to stay. Because that choice, that moment right there, that is the real beginning.